Welcome back, everybody. Happy 100th episode of the Laugh Cry Club. I'm Joy.
I'm Rebecca.
Can you believe 100? That's like the 100th time that you've said that?
No. No.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody, for being here, celebrating our 100th episode of the Laugh Cry Club. If you happen to be jumping in the first time on episode 100, welcome. We are so happy you're here. As a reminder, we're two licensed therapists with over 20 years of experience here to share our wisdom over the years. Today, we're just going to do a behind the scenes 100 episode reflections, maybe some funny recording mishaps, because we definitely have had those. Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't wait to share that story. Any top takeaways that we have from our episodes and kind of what we've learned from just like even starting a podcast, because that has been, you know, obviously something I've been doing for a very long time, but just it's not nothing to just like get up and start a podcast. So I'm really excited to just reflect today. I'm in a reflective mood.
Oh, reflective moods are great. I'm curious, like, what's kind of top of mind when you think about 100 episodes? I mean, because you've had 100 episodes of your other podcasts, and I don't know what you all are at this point. How many?
We stopped counting. We're more like, I think we're in the 700s. We might even be we might be pushing 1,000.
That's a huge feat. So you've done this before. Like, what's your kind of takeaway from this particular podcast? Because you've done this before, you've reached 100, but this is a different type of podcast.
I think it's just
on the spot. But
No. I've been thinking so much just in terms of how this started and really the intention behind it. And, you know, I've done other podcasts throughout my life in the fitness realm, and I've always sprinkled in mental health because obviously people know I'm a therapist in other podcasts, but I've really done it more on the entertainment side, which is like, you know, the other podcasts I've done are really more personal diary type of podcasts where we're talking about our life and we started focusing on fitness, but I've also done a Great British Bake Off season recap show where we've talked about that show because we love it so much. I started a Taylor Swift podcast, so it's more of like fan podcast.
Yeah.
But I've always in my mind, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to start a podcast about mental health and just really hone in on just that part of my knowledge, because honestly, I've had imposter syndrome speaking. I mean, I think we all have imposter syndrome of like speaking about things and almost being seen as like an expert, because I just shy away so much from like wanting people to think, oh, you're an expert if I get something wrong or if I say the wrong thing or if I, you know, it's just like the making the mistake as an expert feels a lot higher stakes. So when we decided to start this a couple of years ago, it was like, oh, it really feels good to have these people that I love and trust around me that we can really rely on each other. It's more brains, and it just felt safer that way.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned that the expert part, because I feel like that just feels really heavy. And I've always looked at, say, podcasts.
Especially mental health.
Yes, mental health podcasts as the experts. I mean, we all know some of the big names in this space for podcasts. They started out as authors and lecturers, and they teach classes. I mean, they're huge. I look at them as being like experts, but I think like even say Brene Brown would be like, that's a heavy term. It's a huge responsibility. And I don't know if she goes around saying like she's an expert. I think it's just a really interesting concept. And so in this space, I think for us to do this, I'm really proud of us that we did it. We were noticing there's a need, and I think we wanted to present an option in this space that didn't feel experty. You know what I mean? Like Brene Brown and some of these others. I don't want to name their names because I'm like, they're in this space, but they're not even a therapist.
Right. And I think that's what's the market is so saturated, but at the same time, like we felt like we had something to say, and you just have to do it. You have to do it. There's always that. I hear that a lot with people who maybe want to start a podcast or want to make some type of creative project where they're like, well, it's already been done, or this field's too saturated. It's like, but no one is you. And you just never know like who you can influence by bringing your voice to the table. Yeah. And, you know, that to me, I'm going to challenge everyone out there that may have that same feeling. And I'm saying it to myself too, is like, that's not a good enough excuse to not do it. Yeah, like to say, oh, it's too saturated or someone's already done it. It's like, not the way you've done it. And if you never try, you never know. And maybe you try and you're like, actually, I'm so glad I tried. I learned a lot. You're never going to regret trying something.
That's true. That's true. And there's something for everybody out there, right? Like one thing can't be for everybody. And we really just wanted to kind of meet people where they're at and not be So, they're really polished productions, right? They make a lot of money. We're not making money. We are doing this because we enjoy it and we like connecting with listeners and providing some tips and tools that are reasonable and also open to hearing what other people do, like really creating a space of a community that shares in mental health and how can we all try to improve our health, or maybe we're just all trying to do our best on a daily basis, and that's okay.
Yeah. And selfishly, Rebecca, I love this because it's like a standing date with you that I get to see you. You know what I mean? Like, even though we could text and whatever, it's like, oh, I get to see Rebecca. It's a commitment that we've done together where it's like we are doing this and I get to see you and I get to work on something creative with you and it's just really fun. And that always, like, that gives me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
But I also just want to say too that for anyone out there who might be wanting to start a creative project or, something that you're dreaming of, it is scary these days to do anything because, it's not like 20 years ago where you just really didn't have as many eyes on you, where now everything is instant attention. If you put something on social media, you're going to get a lot more attention than you would 20 years ago, 10 years ago even, where just that feels like higher stakes. For example, right now I'm working on a project at my full-time job where every season of Love Island, I shouldn't say every, for the past 2 seasons, right? Last season I started it with the media team where they want me to do like a therapist reacts on their TikTok page. I love it. And it's really fun for me to do. And Headspace has a ton of followers on TikTok. I think they have probably over 1 million followers. They have a ton of followers on TikTok.
Wow.
So that is a very, very risky thing for me to do, to put my face out there and like do a fun, cheeky little therapist reacts to a Love Island video. And I really enjoy doing it. But this year I said to the media team, I was like, I will do these, but you need to tell me how they're doing. Like, you need to tell me the feedback. You need to tell me how they're performing because I will not be going on TikTok to watch them. Because last year I made that mistake and I read the comments and they are brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, and I don't need that kind of energy in my life. And it's very tempting. And look, I'm not a celebrity, but I can only imagine like how celebrities have to handle that because you have so many opinions.
They have so many haters. So many
haters. So many haters. And so like with great fame, with eyes on you, here comes the haters. Like it goes hand in hand. Like you cannot, and I was kind of naive, and I'm actually just realizing this now as I'm saying it, is like I was naive when I first started podcasting to be like, I just want to stay in this little pocket of the internet where we will never get hate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right,
like
yeah.
I just, and we did that for quite some time.
Yeah.
And actually we still have curated to where we don't get a lot of hate, but that also I think was very intentional and also playing it a little safe, which maybe I need to be a little more out there and, pushing buttons a little bit more. Who knows? But like that says to me that I still play it safe by trying to create things and not push buttons to where the haters can come in.
Yeah.
And it's something to observe about myself because I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But like that was very apparent with this Headspace project where I'm like, I told the media team, like, I will not be reading the comments because I'm not going to go on TikTok. You need to tell me how they're doing because they were, last year was pretty bad.
Yeah. You can't read the comments. You want to read them because you want to see like what people are thinking.
Right. You want to see what people, yes,
like,
it's very tempting.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea though. It's a way to protect yourself. It's really great for your mental health to be like, if you want me to do this, I need you all to be that buffer then.
Yes. So this brings me to my first memory.
Okay. Awesome.
Because it just totally reminded me of you. Is last year when you watched the America's Sweethearts and we were talking about you trying out for the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Yes.
And there's a new season of America's Sweethearts.
I just finished
Did you watch it?
Yes.
And it reminded me of like how they are all on their phones looking to see like what people are saying about them. And I'm like, girls, get off the
They were like
don't read
crying
the comments.
and upset. There was a whole thing and they're reading these negative comments. And I'm like, this is awful. I was watching this. I'm like, they need a therapist on their team.
Yes,
and
they do.
I'm going to march my ass right down to the Dallas Star where they practice.
'Cause it's right there.
It's right here. And be like, Kelly, Judy.
Yep. You really, yes.
I need to be your therapist.
I volunteer as tribute. Yes,
I will volunteer.
Because that is so apparent. And I was like, Rebecca, this is your way into the America's Sweethearts. Is like being their therapist. Because yes, and I could so see you on the sidelines with your like
and coaching them.
Yes,
like,
yes, you are the cheerleader for the cheerleaders, and you would be like, no one gets to, like, you're going to block the apps on their phone. You are going to erase all the comments.
Yep.
Yes, because to me, all I thought was like, there's nothing nothing good that comes from comments ever.
No.
Ever, 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 ever. Like if someone wants to give you a good compliment, that's great. But like nothing good is going to come from reading a comment. And even Brene Brown, when she first got famous and her TED Talk blew up, that's that whole thing. She went into hiding because she's like, I read the comments and I was like, why did I do that? So let that be a lesson to everyone. And then also that's my first favorite memory is last year you being like, I'm gonna try out and I'm gonna be hanging out with the Dallas Cowboys.
I love it. Like I love it so much. I watched the series again this time. Watch it if you haven't.
What did you think?
I thought it was really good. And I like that Kelly and Judy, they're the leads of the cheerleaders, are listening to them being like, you can't always give us negative comments because they're like they're direct. They don't shit around.
Very direct. And
they're like, your kicks are bad. What did you mess up there? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so they're trying to be more positive. Yep. I like that. But I just really, I realized they are so athletic. I think people look at cheerleaders, and I've been guilty of this way in the past, that it's a cheerleader, right? But competitive cheerleading, and even at high schools, I mean, it's very risky because you get a lot of times those cheerleaders are getting thrown in the air, but the risk of injury is so great. And these women are amazing. Those
jump splits, those jump
I'm
splits.
Like I'm thinking of their joints. I'm like, oh my God, they've got probably very limited time in their careers that they're going to be able to do that, because you're going to mess yourself up because your body is not meant to do that.
Exactly.
But that is, and I'm so glad they're getting paid a lot more than they were. But they are so athletic. So athletic. These tiny little movement details mean you have to be so strong and in control.
Yeah. It's insane the amount of athleticism you have to have. And, during this season, which I really highly recommend everybody watch. It's a lovely show. And it's just so
great.
So heartwarming. And
it's
they work so
Dallas.
hard. And they're just, is it so Dallas? Like, I kind of love the culture of Texas. Like, there's really bad things, but there's really cute things. Like, the whole thing of, like, Texas is its own culture. It's kind of like Hawaii is its own culture.
Yes.
Like, I would say Hawaii and Texas, maybe California, but more Texas, Hawaii has, like, and Alaska. Okay, we're going to just say all the states today. But anyway, like, I love the states that have, like, their own culture within the United States of America.
Yeah.
Anyway, but, like, the athleticism is insane. And when the girls were like, you have to start running if you're trying out, because, like, the amount of running they do back and forth on the field is insane. And the technique that you have to have to, and you guys, I'm sure I've said this before, but I was a cheerleader and a dancer, like, my whole high school career.
You
and I did dance.
Diana Ross.
I danced with Diana Ross. I did 1 year of dancing for Arizona State University. It is no joke. Like, I remember, definitely was not, like, to the skill level of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, but I did try out for the Phoenix Suns dancers back in the day. And just the tryout, I remember going home. I still have it vivid, like, locked in my memory. It was like a core memory where I went home that night because I got asked to come back. I think I made the first cut. I remember going home that night and waking up, and every muscle in my body was so sore. Like, my head was sore. My neck was sore from, like, whipping around so much.
Yes.
And, like, just because when you are trying out for something, you are giving it 1000% because you want it so bad. So there is not a moment where you're, like, half-assing your moves. Anyway, but, like, these girls have to do that at least 2 or 3 times a week, like, if not more, with their practice, because they can't, like, phone in a practice. But at least, like, I'm noticing that they are, the Judy and what's her name?
Kelly.
Judy and Kelly are not making them do, like, the jump splits every time, because they realize how hard that is on their hips.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really, 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 really damaging. And then they talk about all these overuse injuries that they're having. And Reese got injured this season, which
got majorly injured. Yeah.
Baby Reese. Sweet baby Reese. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun fact. I mean, maybe I actually do have a shot to be their team therapist because, 1, they're so close to me. They practice down the road. 2, Kelly sees my dermatologist.
Oh, that's right.
And Jada, who used to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, used to work at my dermatologist's office. So,
oh my gosh.
Maybe there's an end
I see
here.
it happening.
I don't know. I'm going to try to work some magic. And again, make sure if you're a fan of the show, you can write in and call in and say, we know a great therapist for your team, and she'll do it for free. And she's a great sideline coach.
Yeah, I love this idea.
I love it.
Okay, what is anything else? I want to say your funny memories.
Well, this is more of a recent one, but your citizen's arrest of the guy with the house coat on and did he have like a cowboy hat on too?
He had a leopard print cowboy.
I actually was gonna that was hilarious. He was lighting fires around Joycetown, and she caught him and called the police. Do you have any updates? Like, I know you were maybe gonna have to do a deposition or something.
I don't yet.
Okay.
It got to a point where I told you one of the DAs I used to work with has the case, but I have not yet heard from him. I imagine there's other fish to fry at the DA's office, and that's probably maybe on the lower end. I don't know. Maybe the guy just admitted guilt and they got a plea deal. Who knows?
To be continued.
You know what I mean? So I don't know any updates, but I'm still waiting for my moment to be I'm going to go down to the DA's office and put in an official statement.
You're going to be an expert witness, actually.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that was truly probably one of the more prouder moments of my life, to be I caught an arsonist. That was pretty fun. Yeah.
You saved so many people. I mean,
look, wildfires are no joke, man.
No.
It's so dry right now. It's so dry. I follow this, you're going to laugh. This is so inappropriate, you guys. But I follow this really funny weatherman. He's an independent weather reporter, meteorologist on Facebook. And he kind of has his own website. His name is Cody the weather guy, Cody with a K, Denver and Front Range Weather on Facebook, if you want to follow him, because it's just freaking hilarious. But he always will post these really funny things when it's high fire danger, and he's I'm not kidding you guys, if a mouse farts, it's gonna start a fire, so don't do anything, don't as much breathe towards the
farts. Okay. What does a mouse fart sound like? Can we even? Is it audible to us?
I don't think it is. But can you imagine a mouse fart? How cute that would sound.
Oh my God! There's a mouse. There has to be a mouse in here that smells like a mouse fart. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to take to the internet about mouse farts. This is great. I love it.
How much do
a mouse fart could start a fire?
Yeah.
I believe it.
I mean, so he says funny things like that. Anyway, I was very happy to catch the arsonist. And
that was great. I loved it.
Maybe I'll have a career change into, maybe I'll start a true crime podcast next.
Ooh. I want to join because I love true crime.
Oh, you want to do one? Okay, let's do one.
Let's do it. I love true crime. There's
you know what?
Mental health and true crime.
Mental health. We're gonna just morph this over into a true crime podcast.
Yeah, if you want us to do a true crime mental health,
evaluating
send us a message.
Right.
Because there's so much great stuff. I mean, I've watched so many true crime things recently that are just insane.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's review a few true crime documentaries.
Okay, I love it. I love it. But
so good.
I wanted to kind of ask you about some of your key takeaways or things you've learned, and because I kind of started making a list of things we've said that I'm wow, that was really smart, and it kind of resonated with me. That I really like that we've talked about the pivot, right? And something you talk about the next hard right turn, right? That next right turn. What is it? I love your sexy shortcuts. Mm-hmm. I love it. That's so good. But and don't abandon yourself. That's really set with me too. It's always thinking about, am I abandoning myself in certain moments? Because I think at times it's just so easy to do, and we need to remember ourselves. And you talk about too, there are no right choices. There's just choices, right? And getting out of our way. Yeah, no right decision. There's just decisions.
Yeah.
Those are things that's kind of resonated, takeaways I've had from our podcast, things that we've said.
Those are good ones. I love the don't abandon yourself. That one has really stuck with me. I will never forget the moment where I know I was really struggling. It was probably before I started HRT. I was just everything felt like a struggle, which is really interesting because when you're in it, you don't always feel like anything's wrong. You just feel like you're trying so hard to get your head above water. And it's why can't I get my head above water? But then when you're kind of out of it, you're oh, it's because you were underwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting thing that when you're kind of going through a struggle, at least for me, it's very easy to gaslight myself, to be like, suck it up, buttercup, like that type of Gen X mentality.
All the time.
Yes.
Gen X are great at gaslighting ourselves.
We are great at gaslighting
because we learn from the best. People were gaslighting us all growing up.
All the time. Yeah. Yeah. And then you layer Catholicism on top of that, where it's like,
oh, yes.
Don't be a sinner.
I love that you're a Catholic, or,
yeah,
in the past, too.
Obvious reasons. But, like, the thing where we were talking, and I think I was sharing with you and Chelsea that, like, I was going through a really hard time and how I was really trying to push through this block that I had. And the block that I had was, like, that anytime I tried to, that I started to feel a positive feeling, I would immediately sabotage myself, be like, don't get too excited. Don't get too happy, because right around the corner is just some bullshit that's going to bring you back down. Don't get too excited. So that was a big one for me, because I stopped doing that, or at least I got better at recognizing it. And I always say this to clients, like, recognizing your patterns is half the battle, because once you recognize a pattern, when it happens, you can be like, oh, that's that thing I do. Now, look, it may not change your life right off the bat, but at least you're recognizing it. And then you're able to kind of take it outside of yourself and be like, okay, that's outside of me right now. I know that I do this thing, and I'm going to try to choose differently today. And that was a huge moving, like, that was a big turning point for me, because I started to kind of get out of that loop of like just negative. I mean, because that's been something we talk about a lot too, is it takes a long time to undo a pattern that you're so used to doing your whole life.
Yeah. That's why people come to therapy off and on throughout their lives. They really do, because it's like, once you think that you've got something conquered, well, you're going through life, and next thing you know, something else pops up and you're like, oh gosh. I mean, I recently have decided to start seeing a therapist again. One, I wanted to see one. I've tried to find one in the last few years, but it's been really hard to, I think it's sometimes when you are a therapist, it's a little bit harder to find the therapist you want, because
very hard.
I think we get a little judgmental of like, really? Like, I would have never said that to a client, or like, I already know that. I already know. We get into that, like, I already know that, but it doesn't hurt for us to be reminded either. But I think therapists are a hard crowd to please when you're seeing another therapist. So I found somebody and I like them. And it's just like, I've been through stuff before. I've seen therapists before, but these patterns can continue to show up even when you think you've got them fixed. So the recognizing, is so important.
Yes. And I don't know if you do this, but I will erroneously think that you kind of like reach a certain point. I'm doing almost like you're climbing a mountain. Like you reach a certain point and then you're like, okay, I got this mastered and I'm going to hang out here for a while. It's like the false summit thing. And then you're like, oh, wait, there's more to work on. You know what I mean? Like I always go to these false summits thinking that I've like mastered life, which is so stupid, but I still do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh no, there's more to work on, because guess what? We are always changing and growing and learning, and new things are coming into our life. And it's like, I still remember when I was like in my early 20s, like maybe 20, 21. And I was like, I'll probably be married by 22 and maybe I'll have some kids by like 25. Like I grew up in a Mormon town, so that was like very much the norm. And then I quickly realized that's not at all what I want. But just so funny how when you're young, you have such a desire to know more and to be an adult and to like have your life figured out. That like kind of sacred time though is also very beautiful. I'm laughing at myself because I'm like, I see this a lot on Love Island, but it's really cute. Like because these kids, are like trying to find love. They have this language that I wonder why we lose it, which is basically like, oh, I have these visions and dreams. I really want to do A, B, and C with my life. And I want to have this type of partner. The world is your oyster. Like there's a very hopeful and determined and free outlook that they have. And I love that. And I'm like, when do we lose that? Because it feels like that's not as accessible to me anymore. And I don't know why. Like, why does age kind of like put this damper on our dreams and hopes? Like, because
maybe it's just reality. We've been through enough shit that we know the reality of the situation that
the reality kind of dumps on you and you're like, look, that's nice and all, but I got bills to pay.
Right. And I think what we do is we start to find the easy way or the less painful way. When you're a dreamer, I look at it as you're not even considering all the terrible things that could go wrong or the consequences, right? You're just like big and bold and it's amazing. But I think when you get older, since you were a dreamer at one point, and then you're like, wow, that dream got squashed. This dream got squashed. Or like, that's not how this world works. Like, my dream isn't going to work. I'm not going to be able to get it like I thought so, you know? And so you have to find other routes. And we're always, I think, when we try to find the path of least resistance, because otherwise it's super painful. And I think I've said this multiple times on this podcast over the last 100 episodes that we are trying to avoid pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, especially when you get older and you've learned all the lessons, you're like, ooh, there's a memory of that was hard. Why would I do that again? I'll take the easy way out.
That's a really good point. That is a good point. It's
guess.
like, no, and what you're saying kind of reminds me of, not to quote Taylor Swift, but I'm going to, is like, Taylor Swift is kind of like Taylor Swift songs when she was in her teens, where if you listen to her first couple albums, they're very fantasy land. They're very like, you know, the love story is all about like, she wanted to date this guy, and like you live in the fantasy world of projecting what you think love is. So maybe that's it, that you haven't had the life experience yet. So you're living off of these really like exciting times because you have not yet lived as an adult. You've not yet experienced an adult relationship. Everything feels fuzzy and cotton candy in the future.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm so glad you said that. And this is a little bit of a digress because this is about Taylor Swift. But I think I was watching an interview and it was about Love Story. And I forget who she was co-writing, or she was going to writing sessions when she lived in Nashville at that point.
Yeah,
and I forget
she was
who
writing
it was.
with people. Mm-hmm.
And she had this song, Love Story, almost completed, I believe, and was presented it as like, let's finish this up. And he was like, I don't get this. Like, he didn't get it. And so he's like, let's do this other one. Of course, Love Story becomes a big hit, and I think the other one did too. But I think he's an older man, and with age was like, I don't get that. What this is? Yeah. I think that just kind of maybe, you know, proves a point a bit that when we get older, we're like, that's not how it is.
But it's still a beautiful feeling to feel. You know, because that was that. And I think that's probably why it feels so good to still listen to those songs, to be like, oh, there was a time. And I kind of think of it this way too. So like, I don't know, maybe it was 3 years ago. So maybe it was like right after we started this podcast. I went to Arizona because my dance teacher from high school was retiring. So we all got together, all of the alumni dancers from her entire career got on stage and did a dance together. And it was super fun. So it was like alumni from decades, right? I remember going to the party where we had this like alumni party after the fact, and everyone got together, watched old videos of us doing the dances. It was crazy, like VHS tapes, right?
Who has a VCR?
Someone has a VCR, and they were like, VHS tapes, crazy. And they had photos of all of our classes. So every class had like a dance group photo where you do like a cool pose. And so everyone's doing a different pose. And our photo was taken in this big amphitheater at the school. So it's like huge amphitheater. We're all spread out doing cool poses. And I saw me in this photo, and I was like staring at it. And I was like, it was cool, but it equally broke my heart because all I could think was, you have no idea what's coming.
Oh no.
And it was like not in a horrible tragic way, but just like this, like, you sweet little thing, you have no idea what's heading your way. And that is, I think, what we're talking about is like this, like when you see a photo of yourself like in high school, where I was like, oh, bless your heart, you like you were living in that moment of everything is possible. Anything is possible. Dreams are big and vast, and you can do anything in the world. And I was trying to do everything. And I was really like trying to reach for anything that I could accomplish and find. And look, that still lives in me. And I think you're right. Like, I want to do a better job. I'm just kind of realizing this. Like, I want to do a better job of like not poo-pooing that like spirit in me, but also it's because it is about reality of like how life, it's not that we should... How should I say this? Like, try to help me out here. It's not that we should be like defeated by life, or like, oh, that's not how life is, or oh yeah, good luck with that. It's just more of like, once you start to experience life, I think you get a better idea of like routes that are possible to take versus like this airy fairy, the world is your oyster, because you kind of have to get really beat up a little bit with like bruises and bumps to accomplish some of your dreams.
Yeah. I will say too that I think sometimes when when we're younger and we do like start to get the bumps or the bruises or the hurdles, I don't know. I felt like I would just give up pretty quickly. And I didn't have the kind of fortitude or the motivation to be like, keep trying. Like if the door shut, like something was really hard, I realized, oh, I don't really have this skill. And so I'm not good. The message would be, I'm not good at that. So you're going to have to put that dream aside and try something else. But one thing I've learned as I've gotten older is like, I could have still done it. I just didn't have all the brain power or the ability to look at all the possibilities that I do now. Now as an adult, I can be like, oh yeah, you could have done this. Yes, it would have been harder, but here's the things that you could have done to go to that route. And plus, what you thought was true in that moment is really not true. So I think in some ways as an adult, it's that hindsight 2020 vision, right? That you can be like, yeah, I could have made it through some times, but then you didn't as well. So, it kind of goes back and forth. So I feel like maybe as an adult, that's how we dream, is like we recognize the areas that we can still do things. We're just maybe more strategic about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, do you still have, and I think that's maybe what, I had such a hard time once I hit like my late 30s, because I felt like I couldn't dream anymore. I felt like I didn't understand like why I didn't have like the same clarity. There was like always a clarity from like my 20s to early 30s. And I think it has a lot to do with your age and like how I was building my life and, getting married, developing a family, getting stable in my job. And once I kind of like felt like those were really solid, bought a house, then I felt like, okay, now what do I do? And because we chose not to have kids, I was like, that's still, I think I'm better now because I think I have a clearer view of like, and look, mindfulness has completely changed my life with this stuff in terms of like what happiness looks like, because I had such an incorrect view of like what was going to make me happy until I started doing mindfulness. But like that started to plateau a little bit. And maybe there was a little bit of like, I was trying to chase these goals to try to be happy. And we all know that doesn't happen. But I also think that was something that I'm still curious about. I'm not haunted by it, but I'm just curious of like how it was so clear to me what I wanted to accomplish. And then it just kind of stopped for a while. And I've yet to really get that same clarity back.
Maybe what it is when you get older, you can still accomplish things, but it doesn't feel as big because you're not like, oh, what's my career going to be? I'm going to get a house. I'm going to get this fancy car I want. As an adult, a lot of times, most of us has probably already done these things or, did the thing, and you're in a career. And I think also society kind of gives us this message that once you've done all the things and you've reached the summit, which we know it's like a false summit, but that we've reached it, then it's like you're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to sit back, kick your feet up, and enjoy where you're at.
Yeah, right.
And then you retire and enjoy it some more and then die. That's
right.
I don't know. So
it's interesting.
I will say, like, dreaming for me, I still dream, but my dreams maybe are smaller. So like every year I do a vision board of things. So maybe it's not this big thing that I want to happen for me, but things that I'd like to see in the next year so I can accomplish those things. I think people do it through bucket lists too. Those are sometimes bigger things, like what's on your bucket list and what's important to you to do. It's probably going to be different than it was when you were like 18 or 20.
No, I think that's very, very true, where it just feels like it's not as big. And also, I think we do get a better perspective of, okay, why are we doing this and what makes us happy, and getting a little bit clearer on what makes us happy. And I think that's, as you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, it's because I've realized that the chasing and the constant like torturing myself of like, you're not doing enough. You got to do more. Do more, do more. That will get you happy. And you're not worth anything unless you're doing something. That was just killing me. And so, mindfulness has really taught me that like your brain is wired to do that, to kind of stay ahead of the pack, but it's not going to bring you happiness. Anyway, so kind of wrapping up this episode, anything else that you want to add that was like a fun behind the scenes story?
There's so many things. I do love when we were all able to record in person. That was so much fun.
That was so fun.
I loved it so much. The episode, it was probably within the first 15 episodes that we did when we had to record the first part, the laughs. And I think it was the first part of it 3 times because I don't know what was happening. That was the most memorable.
Well, was that one?
You were at your parents' house.
I was at my parents' house.
Maybe it was the internet.
Oh my gosh, I will never forget that. And I was so exhausted. It was the internet because it couldn't record video that well. So then we had to stop. And then we were just recording audio. And then we forgot to hit record.
Oh my God.
I forgot to hit record. And like a quarter way through our laughs and cries, Chelsea looked up and she's like, wait, is this recording? And we just started dying laughing. And then like there was a third, and then I think by the time we got to the third time, I was like, okay, this has to happen. And I would, but like we had heard each other's laughs and cries like 3 times. So we were like, I could have said your laugh and cry for you. That was really funny. Yeah. Recording mishaps are always crack me up because like the behind the scenes tech stuff is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was so funny. It sounds like that's probably both of our most memorable mishap.
Yeah, that was our memorable. That was truly the most
It never happened again.
It never did. And honestly, every time you live and learn because time is very precious. And when you do not get your content recorded, it is a tragedy. So listeners, we're just beyond grateful for you that you've hung in there for 100 episodes. And if you love this podcast and want to share it with a friend and be like, hey, they've hit their 100 episodes, you can give us a gift by sharing the episode with someone or leaving a rating and review. That would be amazing and so appreciated. So Rebecca, I think after this 100 episode, what I'm hearing is we are going to pivot and start doing true crime documentary reviews.
I love this. I think we could. Yeah.
I mean, I think we could. You know what? The first one that comes to mind, I'm just going to say it right here, right now, because I'm like, this actually is so fascinating to me. And I'm delicate with true crime because I want to be always mindful of the victims. This is extremely tragic truth for people who have lived it. And I always worry about, that people turn it into entertainment. But there is a documentary I think it's called The Crash. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, yes, I've seen it. And there's apparently an episode, there's some Hulu episode about true crime, and there's a certain episode on it that talks about
Mean Girl Murders.
I need to watch that one, too.
Yes, I watched it. It's pretty good.
This thing is very bizarre.
It is so bizarre. And I would be, from a therapy, from like a psychology standpoint, I would love to, let's unravel that on the next episode.
Let's do it. Surprise, everybody.
Surprise, everybody. We just, you know what?
We keep it fresh.
Podcast.
This is
we
our
can do
podcast.
Whatever we want.
Hey, well, it's still about laughing and crying because I think people are interesting that watch true crime, and I think they do it. It's honestly like a decompression. But, if you think about why would you watch something so terrible as a decompression? But I think that's what we do.
We do. And I think I have to research this a little more, but I honestly think it's because we try to, as a protective mechanism, we try to consume things as information so that it doesn't happen to us.
I would love to see a study on this. Do people that say are diagnosed with anxiety or would self-diagnose themselves with high anxiety have a tendency to be the consumers of true crime?
Yeah.
I would
and we know, I think this is unofficial, but I do believe it's statistically white women watch true crime.
Okay. I think, I can see that.
I'm going to do some deep dives into this before we do our next episode so we can talk more about it. But for me personally, I was always interested in true crime. I was always interested in law enforcement. So I have more of like a professional, like I almost went into law enforcement. So that was like,
me too. Joy.
Yeah,
we've
like
talked
the
about same person, but different.
We are the same person. So
I love you so much.
Yeah, I know. I love you more.
No.
But like we all have, like, I think that's where mine comes in. So I am, because of the psychology piece and why we're therapists, I'm always trying to think about how someone became who they are and what led them down this path, because I would love to know. I think we're always trying to crack the code to prevent that from happening. Yeah. So anyway,
I think you're absolutely correct. But I can't.
That's coming up next.
Okay, cool. Stay tuned, everybody.
So
we love you. Thank you for
Stay
being
laughing
here.
And crying. Come back and see us next week.
You're all part of the club. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.